Alrighty. So, in the last video I uploaded a couple days ago, it was a sharing of the 13 goals that I have before I die. 13 goals that I want to accomplish. So, after uploading that, I've been thinking that it would be good for me to document the progress and the completion of these goals and have that perhaps be the bulk of my YouTube videos moving forward. I think we'll find other ways to grow a following, perhaps separate from these updates. Let's just call this series the goal tracking and the updates related to these goals more for me. And if, as a viewer watching this, you derive some level of help or entertainment from these updates, awesome. That's great. I'm glad I can help. We're all in this together, and I don't know, I like the idea of actually vocalizing what I'm doing in my head in order to see each goal through to fruition. And like I said in my last video, each goal gets slightly more difficult until it's just king shit, running Hollywood, all that cool stuff. In theory, it's a beautiful progression. But let's get out of theory and get into reality. Reality, goal number 1 is getting a new job. I've already talked to death to anyone who will listen, my camera, my family members, my friends, about how much I hate my current job. And now, in month 8 of this year, it is time to put my words into action. I got promoted at my position, community management, at the beginning of the year, more like December, and they promoted me to senior manager of community services. And things just haven't really been good since then. Had I known the volume of work that would have increased from this promotion, I would have not taken it. Period. I would have just flat out refused. It's not even a significant pay bump from what I was making last year. I think last year I was making $75K, and this year I'm making $90K, so a $15,000 increase. And at the time, me not going to college or not finishing college, and the college that I did go to was a community college, and I never imagined that I would find myself in a position where I'd be making $90,000 in a profession that I wasn't passionate about. The way that I saw my life going when I was shirking off the college route was be broke, have like a waiting staff job or some kind of menial job that doesn't pay well, but you keep your expenses low, and you just do that until your big break and call it a day. There would be there'd be no middle class. That's kind of how I always imagined it. So when I got into this industry, the HOA management industry, 6 years ago, it was cool because it was like, oh man, I never pictured myself making, I can't even remember what it was at the time, but like $20 an hour. I never imagined that for myself. And then each year, wage increase, yada, 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 to the point where I was making $75K. And then they offer me the promotion, and it's like, wow, $90,000. I'm like $10,000 away from making 6 figures, which is, I don't really care about money. Money's just a part of the story for me, and it also makes life easier. But even saying that, I will say that this job has allowed me to better understand that it's more about how I'm making the money and less about how much money I'm making. And I would say there's a ratio. Let's say, for instance, I find another job and I go into my office hypothetically tomorrow and I put in my 2 weeks and I say I want to be out of here. I got my 2 weeks, go find my replacement. And they call me into the room later that day and they say, hey, Sean, we don't want you to leave. Is there anything that we can offer you that would keep you here? I was actually talking to this with my friend. I was talking to my friend about this, and we made the joke where it's like, okay, well, what if they offered you $110,000 to stay? I would reject it. What if they offered me $140,000 to stay? I would accept it. So I guess that's kind of my point when it comes to, there is a balance between doing a job that you hate and how much money you make from that job. Preferably, I would love to do a job that feels good, that I like doing. I wake up each day looking forward to going to work, and the money that I make from that job affords me a comfortable lifestyle. That's the dream. That is the dream. And that's what I'm going to be seeking. That's what I'm going to be seeking. What does that look like? What does that look like? Well, after I made that video titled 13 Goals to Accomplish Before I Die, I smoked a little weed that night and I laid in bed listening to the YouTube series Trapping in Japan. So fucking dope. If you like lo-fi and you like rap, check out Trapping in Japan. It's a YouTube series. There's like dozens of videos. Each one is like an hour long and it's just rap with like really dope lo-fi beats. Cool visuals. I fucking love it. I'm so happy I discovered it. Probably gonna do that again tonight. Anyway, as I was lying in bed that night after posting that video, I'm just like thinking, all right, so you finally reached the point where you're ready to leave your job. The fear of the unknown is no longer crippling you. You're prepared, me, to get a job that pays less, perhaps even pay less than my monthly expenses because I have savings. So the way that would work out is, let's say I get a job that pays $3,500 a month, but my living expenses are $4,000. That would mean I would be spending $500 out of my savings each month. Now, how long would I be doing that? I would be doing that for as little time as I can until I can find a job that actually that gets me my $4,000 per month. I'll say this with a disclaimer. I've never been like a financial guy. I've never been even good with math. I've always been more of a idealist, optimist. I like living in the moment, being present, just enjoying life. I'm like the free flowing guy. So hashing this kind of shit out is not my expertise. And that's why I think there's value in recording this kind of shit. And again, the value might just be for me. If anyone else gets something out of it, that's cool too. But I think it's interesting to actually say out loud what I do and what I don't know. And hopefully what's required is over time I will have to develop and grow more. I do not have a business mind, nor am I efficient in sales at all. And that's a goal. That was like goal number 6 or 7, which, quick shout out to my girlfriend Christina, who watched the video that I posted the day after, and then even listed one of the goals and said, oh, I think goal number 8 was such and such. And I really cool. And yeah, yeah, that kind of stuff is nice. But anyway, one of the goals later on in that list of 13 goals was getting good at sales, essentially. And yeah, we're going to track all of that. Focusing with goal number 1, getting a new job. Where are we? Tomorrow going to work. I'm off on my birthday, which is 2 Wednesdays from now. My plan is, after I get my DEXA scan on my birthday, September 6th, I'm just going to start driving around, poking my head into restaurants, seeing if they're hiring, start asking questions, understanding that if I were, let's say, hypothetically, to go back to the food service industry, which I have some previous experience in, then I would have to find a restaurant that is not only hiring, but B, the average that servers are going home with on, like, let's say a weekly basis is in the ballpark of $800 a week. $800, $1,600, $2,400, $3,200. So even that's not enough for me. That's not enough. But like I said, honestly, I think I just want to rip the Band-Aid off of my current job, and my next job might not be the job that I stick with for several months. My next job I might only have for a month until I find something better. But at least I'll have left this current position, and I'll be able to think differently. I'll be able to have different ideas and assess different problems, as opposed to feeling like I'm stuck and needing a change. That's where I am right now, and my first goal is to get out of that situation. And then from there, it's like, okay, does this new job do all the things that I need it to do? No? Then let's kick rocks and find another one. The good news is that I'm open to pretty much any opportunity. The places that I'm thinking of looking, food service industry, but even talking about it right now, I just don't know if there's a server job that is going to afford me. I need to make $4,000 a month. I'm open to server job, but it's gotta hit that number. Then there's hospitality, as I have some experience in that. Upper management at, let's say, a corporate office job, which would be similar to what I'm currently working, but let's say if it's in a different industry, there might be different demands. And if it were to result in me ending up back in an office, my only hope would be that it's a situation where I'm able to kind of log in, do my work, and log out. And there's nothing hovering over me throughout my days and my weekends of like, oh, there's unfinished work that needs to get done. There's 1,000 emails that I have to get back to. There's all these deadlines. And yeah, I'll know it when I see it, I guess, when it comes to if there's a office job that's out there that is better than my current one. I'll be able to ask the right questions. And honestly, if maybe it is just like a new environment that will do me some good, like I said, I'm open to anything. I'm not, I'll just leave it like that. So, I have the day off 2 Wednesdays from now after I get my DEXA scan, which is assessing my body fat percentage, because that's goal 2, which I will be tracking and updating simultaneously. I will be driving around and just stepping into restaurants and asking if they're hiring, maybe even print off my resume and start doing that. Beyond that, I need to start allotting time, if not each day, definitely each week, where I spend an hour or 2 on Indeed, Craigslist, any other job hunting sites, and just start seeing what's out there, start submitting to opportunities, and just get in that habit, get in that flow. Um, yeah. Yeah. And what I have been doing is I have been visualizing that interaction at my job where I go in and I put in my 2 weeks and I go through that discomfort, because it will be an uncomfortable feeling. For me, it's never really presented as an opportune time to leave this position. It will leave my teammates and the people that I work with in a bad spot when I put my 2 weeks in, and that's something that I have been conscious of for the past several months. Every time I've even had the thought of like, man, I want to leave this job, I do always think like, oh man, what's that going to do to my team members? But it got to the point where I just no longer give a shit, and I don't have it in me anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want this. I don't want to stay here. So, doing the visualization exercises, and my father always talks about action speaks louder than words. So the next thing I have to do to keep this moving forward is action. I need to start submitting applications. I have a self-tape that I'll be taping at my girlfriend's place on Tuesday for a recurring role on a soap opera. So to me, that's an action. I'm doing a self-tape. And let's say I were to book the role, and then I would have a recurring acting role on a soap opera. That's a new job, so technically that counts. But beyond that, I need to start submitting job applications. And my next update will include the job applications that I've submitted to within the next couple of days. And I am promising that. So, cool. I really don't know if these videos will have any value to anyone but me. But that's the beauty of free will. Nobody has to watch these. So, thank you for listening if you were. And we'll see how this develops. This is goal 1 of 13. I'll be posting goal 2 of 13 because those goals, number 1 and 2, will be happening simultaneously within the next 6 to 8 weeks for both. And then goal 3 is, I believe, writing my first book, The Way of the Shred. So that comes later, after getting a new job and hitting my 5% body fat. Checking this shit off, providing updates along the way, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Sounds simple enough. Let's just get to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are actually checking this out, let me know what goals you have that you want to accomplish before you die. Maybe we can collaborate and hold each other accountable. I think that would be kind of cool. Thank you. Bye.